Hi, folks. I'm David Adler. I'm the chairman and founder of BizBash, and I'm here today to discuss some of the things that I've heard that's going on in our industry. It is the most challenging time we've ever had because now we're on this great pause. The pause happened on March 14th for the most part. I think I did my last event on March 12th, and I even fondly remember that event like it was yesterday because that's the last one that I've been to. I do believe that we're going to have a little bit of a challenge in 21 while people are getting vaccinated and things that are going on. I think there are events that are coming online. Tarsus, the company that bought BizBash, is doing their events very successfully around the world, China, Asia, places like that. So there is hope, and it can be done safely, but there is a pause. We also know that you cannot go home again. The event industry will never return to the same for business events, especially hybrid is going to be the standard, we believe. That you're going to be able to have the people in your audience and also the people that are outside, and they're going to come together. And event planners are adopting new technology so that they can scale the number of attendees. We've never had this many people attending our events. It's kind of incredible, actually, when you think about it. So I think we've progressed so much in the last 9 or 10 months. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the next year. We do have a problem, however. Engagement is waning. It is the final frontier, and planners are struggling with this engagement piece, especially on these virtual platforms. I always say that event organizers have to be collaboration artists, and it's more important than ever. Digital tools like simple Q&A features are not the only things that make sense. We're going to have to come up with whole new ways to digitize engagement techniques, and it has to be mastered by the organizers and not just by technology. We also have learned that Smurf rules. After 9/11 and after the Great Recession, we depended on business that was right in our neighborhoods. The social events, the military events, the religious events, and the fraternal events. Those were more important than ever. And so I think that the beginning of the recovery is going to be right in front of your nose. So everybody who's a venue or an event planner, go back to the basics. This is going to be really important. Smurf rules. Also, we've discovered through COVID that the great outdoors, these spaces that are on rooftops and are around venues and the ground floors and things like that, are more important than ever. My friends at Long Beach Convention Center, for example, took an underpass and turned it into basically a ballroom that made it and activated it. And I think more and more you're going to see more and more activations of spaces that you never even thought were spaces. Also, I found that RESPECT, this is going to be the word of the moment because what we have found that event pros are getting a lot of respect. In fact, most large corporations and executives at those corporations are turning to event pros because they're the closest person to the actual audience. They're becoming, in effect, the cultural officers for their brands. They have both, our event organizers have both the ear of the attendees at events and the C suite executives who are asking how to engage these people. And that is a good sign. You're seeing more and more of that. And it's the respect at the boardroom level that I think we're seeing. Also, guess what? How many of you are looking at this from your home? Can you imagine going to the office is now an event. With so many employees working from home, the office as we know it will be revolutionized. And these shared event spaces will become the gathering spots for all sorts of organizations. Look for large shared workspaces with meeting spaces like Convene to become more popular than ever. Also, they're going to be converting more raw spaces into permanent showrooms, more like things like the design centers and things like that. You don't need a complete office anymore. You will need a place where you can rally the troops, rally your employees, and rally your customers. It's going to be a whole new way of making use of this real estate that is going to be going empty if we don't do something smart about it. Also, I have written stories about something called the hub and spoke method, where venues are going to be connected so that you can have people all around the world that can connect and go to hotels and actually meet other people, but not have to travel. These network venues are going to be what we're trying to do in events on a day to day basis. We're trying to create intimacy. So imagine taking a hotel and having 10 people in a room to watch a presentation like this, but getting to know each other. It's the intimacy that we're actually trying to uh, get in terms of our world. How many times have you gone to a huge reception and you never even meet anybody? If you can break it down and make it more intimate, maybe this is going to help accomplish some of the rules and some of the things that we want to accomplish. So attendees are going to want more. I always kid that you're never going to want to go to an event where you're going to kill your grandmother by going home. So while we hope that the infection level will drop, I think that it's going to be more important for us to make sure that the events are more important and that we really, in the words of Priya Parker, who wrote Purposeful Events and things like that we really understand what makes an event fantastic. We're also going to see tech everywhere. We're also going to see tech everywhere. You're going to see smart chairs. You're going to see smart everything. You're going to see ways that you're going to walk into a venue and you'll be monitored just like going to the airport. Clear is going to have a very big role in the event industry, I believe. And that's going to be much more important. You're seeing convention centers that are going after production and they're putting robotic cameras everywhere so that you can lower the cost of labor and actually give more of your event spend to the venue and not to the subs, the vendors. So that's going to be a challenge for people. I do believe that masks are here to stay. I interviewed at Gather Geeks, my podcast, which you should listen to, a bunch of doctors who are now involved in the event industry in big ways. And they're saying that when you go to an event in Las Vegas in flu season, before COVID, you get on the plane, you are spreading those flus everywhere. So you're going to see more masks and more understanding of what airborne illnesses are about. And also, it's going to be a hedge for future issues that we may have. So I think you're going to see the flu season, masks everywhere at events. Also, everyone asks me, what's the recovery going to be like? Is it going to be a K? Is it going to be a V? I believe it's going to be a U. We've all experienced the U before, exactly because if you've experienced 9/11 and you experienced the Great Recession, it didn't come back for a long time. And then 2019, 2018, with the booming years of our moment of the industry, and everyone expected 2020 to be the best year ever. And of course, it was not. So we believe it's going to be a slow recovery. It's going to take years to get back to where we were, except for a big jolt that I'll talk about a little later. I wanted to talk a little bit about the disruptors and the cautionary tales. The number one thing we're going to have to be concerned about is this is not the only pandemic. We're going to have to be ready for this. And believe me, anybody that's going to has lived through this is going to want to know how to be ready the next time because it will happen. Mark my words. We also know that we need to get ready again. I just did a hybrid event a few weeks ago, and I was virtual, and the audience was on scene for a small group of people, and the sound didn't work. These great engineers that are dealing with things on a regular basis couldn't get it right. So we are going to see a lot of rustiness going on. We're going to have to get back into our game. So I'm asking everyone to be patient, but double check and have plan B, C, D, and E as every event planner has. So this is a very important concept. The other thing is with the economic situation that's going on, we're in a cash flow game. A lot of our vendors and a lot of our suppliers don't have the money to provide you with the service that they once did. So you as an event organizer or as a manager of other vendors have to be very careful that your suppliers have the wherewithal to survive. And there's got to be certain checks in advance on this. The other thing is that hybrids are not going to be so simple. That's what I love about Exvo. They are thinking all the time. They've got these great Israeli designers and game producers that are making this sort of better than ever and a whole new approach to hybrid events and virtual events. I'm hearing things about how companies want to break the fifth wall. Fifth wall is very interesting. It's a way to connect the audience of people that are attending with the audience of people that are actually watching virtually. One idea that I heard that was really interesting was a company that was going to connect those people. So you walk into a venue and you see a whole bunch of iPads on the wall, and they all have faces on it with people that are live. You pick one up and you take them as your buddy to walk through the event or to listen, and you get to know the person on the iPad. It's very, very interesting. Who knows? innovation is going to thrive. We also have this really interesting myth that people who are CEOs say, oh my God, let's just do it on Zoom. It's so much cheaper. As we know, engagement is dropping. It's not cheaper to do it right. It has to have great production values in order to do that. So I think that we have to make sure that these penny pinching CEOs realize that this is a much more important thing than people realize, that they've got to connect with audiences in good ways. And it's not just cheaper, it's going to be better to go face to face. We know that with the added advantage of a hybrid audience. So thank you so much for listening to my little talk today. I want to know what's going on. I have the greatest job in the world. I get to listen to everybody. So email me, tell me what's going on in your world, because frankly, nobody really knows. So, with that said, thank you very much for listening to me today. And I want to listen to you on a regular basis all year round, which is what BizBash does. We allow people to peek over the fence to see what other people are doing. And I believe over the last 21 years that we have raised the bar, and I'm very proud of that. So thank you and have a great day.